Hello everyone. Today I want us to talk about a topic that has likely troubled many of us. Have you ever asked yourself whether you are truly living your own life? Is your personality, the person you are, something you've built yourself? Or is it a version shaped by society or by those around you? Through years of working with thousands of people, I've heard countless stories. And one thing I've realized is this: many of us, even after reaching 40 or 50, still carry an invisible burden. The burden of living according to others' expectations and definitions. I remember an old friend of mine, a very successful man, who always felt something was missing. One day, he confided in me. And I've lived 55 years, but it seems I've never truly known who I am. He had spent his whole life doing what his family wanted, living according to a model society admired. But deep inside, he felt empty. Have you ever felt that way? Today's video isn't an academic speech. It's a conversation from the heart. Right now, I want you to take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and reflect with me. In a previous video, Muniba Mazari made a powerful point. Character is not something you are born with. It's something you build every day. This mindset changed my life. In my youth, I thought, that's just my personality. I can't change. I was short-tempered and impatient. But as I grew older, I realized that was only an excuse. I wasn't a tree stuck in one place. I was human, and humans can evolve and learn. And so can you. So what's the first step on this journey? It is self-awareness. Imagine this. You're standing in front of a mirror. Not the one you look at every morning to comb your hair, but a mirror that reflects your inner self, behind the mask you wear every day. Who are you? What truly makes you happy, not what pleases others? What is your deepest fear? Many of us spend our whole lives scrolling on phones, watching movies, seeking distractions just to avoid facing ourselves. I was like that too. Sometimes the silence was so unbearable that I had to turn on the radio just to fill the void. But it's precisely in that silence, when you turn off all external noise, that you can hear the voice of your own heart. One method I often use is journaling. You don't need to write complex stories, just jot down your thoughts and the emotions you're experiencing. You'll be surprised to see patterns, recurring reactions. When you recognize them, you gain the power to change them. That's the power of self-awareness. Second, we need to talk about positive thinking. I know it may sound cliché, but I assure you, positive thinking is not delusion, and it doesn't mean you have to smile all the time. It is a choice. Think of two people facing the same challenge. One loses their job. The other also loses theirs. The first complains, "It's so unfair, I'm a failure." The second sees it as an opportunity to learn a new skill or find a more suitable job. Both face reality, but one chooses to complain while the other chooses to act. That is the difference in mindset. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can absolutely control how you react. A simple practice I often recommend to my students is start your day by listing 3 things you are grateful for. Just 3, even the smallest ones. This shifts your focus from problems to the good things that already exist in your life. Life isn't always a bed of roses. There will be days when you feel disappointed, sad, or even want to give up. But remember, a person's true strength doesn't lie in never falling. It lies in getting back up after every fall. One final point I want to share today is effective communication. There's a saying I truly value. Your words are the imprint of your character. Communication is not just about how we speak, it's also about how we listen. Have you noticed how some people only wait for their turn to talk without really listening? That makes conversations meaningless. When you truly listen, you don't just hear with your ears, you hear with your heart. You'll understand emotions, fear, so how do you become a better listener? Start simply by not interrupting. When someone is speaking, give them your full attention. Maintain eye contact. Nod when you understand. And when you speak, speak clearly and confidently. Your body language also matters. An upright posture without crossing your arms makes you look more confident and trustworthy. And finally, I want to talk about something many of us often fear: perseverance, and even the unspoken thoughts of others. And when you listen, your words gain far greater value. I also often advise people to pay attention to body language. Stand tall, maintain eye contact, and avoid folding your arms while talking. These small details can change how others perceive you. We often judge others by how they present themselves, and the same applies to us. This journey is not a race. It's a process. And more importantly, it's a journey you don't have to walk alone. Whether you're 40, 50, or even 60, you're never too old to begin. Remember, your greatest strength lies within you. We just talked about self-awareness. That is the first step, the map that helps you locate yourself on the journey of life. But a map cannot take you to the destination by itself. To move forward, you need a strong engine. And that engine is positive thinking. I know when hearing the phrase positive thinking, many of us may feel hesitant. Perhaps you think it's an unrealistic idea, something only for people who are overly naive optimists. But I want you to understand one thing. Positive thinking doesn't mean you have to smile all day, pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It is simply a choice. Imagine two people facing the same unexpected event. They lose their job at age 50. The first person immediately thinks, "My life is over. Who would hire someone old like me?" They sink into despair, blaming themselves and the world. But the second person views it differently. They acknowledge the sadness, but then ask, "What can I learn? Could this be a chance to do what I've always wanted?" Both face the same harsh reality, but the second person chooses to turn the challenge into an opportunity. You see, life is a series of endless challenges. There will be times when you feel like you're rowing against the current. But if you have a positive mindset, you won't complain about the rushing water. You'll focus on how to row stronger, how to use the wind to your advantage. So how do we cultivate this mindset? Start with the smallest things. Instead of saying, "I can't do it," try saying, "I will find a way to do it." Instead of complaining about what you don't have, be grateful for what you already have. Just a small change in how you talk to yourself can create a big difference in how you face life. Third, I want to talk about something we often overlook: effective communication. At this age, we have a wealth of life experience, many stories to tell. But sometimes we forget how to truly connect with others. Communication is not only about what you say, but also about how you listen. Have you noticed that in a gathering, there are always people who just wait for their turn to speak without really listening to others? They may say a lot, but their words don't stick in the listeners' minds. Why? Because of a lack of connection. A friend of mine, a successful businessman, once shared with me that his greatest secret in business was not talent, but the ability to listen. When I listen to my partners, I don't just hear what they say, I also hear what they don't say, he said. I understand their fears, their motivations, and then I can find a way to help them. When you do that, you don't need to persuade because you've already earned their trust. So how do you become a better listener? Start simply by not interrupting. When someone is speaking, give them your full attention. Maintain eye contact. Nod when you understand. And when you speak, speak clearly and confidently. Your body language also matters. An upright posture without crossing your arms makes you look more confident and trustworthy. And finally, I want to talk about something many of us often fear: perseverance. In life, we cannot avoid failures. There will be times when you feel you've tried your best, but the results still aren't what you hoped for. At that moment, it's easy to give up and think, maybe this isn't the path for me. But you know, failure is not the end. It's a stepping stone on the road to success. I once witnessed a friend who tried and failed in business 3 times in a row. On the 4th attempt, he almost gave up. I asked him, "Do you still want to continue?" He answered, "I don't know." I told him the story of Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Eventually, my friend stood up, learned from his mistakes, and tried again. And this time, he succeeded. Perseverance isn't about repeatedly banging your head against a wall. It's about finding another door to go through, or learning how to build a ladder to climb over it. So in your life, will you be the driver or let others decide for you? The choice is in your hands. Remember, you are never too old to learn to change and to become the best version of yourself. So we have discussed self-awareness, positive thinking, communication skills, and the power of perseverance. I know these are not new secrets, but we often tend to forget the most basic things, especially when life becomes busy and complicated. Now, as we are on the other side of life's slope, having gone through so many ups and downs, so many relationships that came and went, I believe we all realize one truth. The only thing you can absolutely rely on is yourself. You cannot control others. You cannot make them stay loyal to you forever or always be there when you struggle. But you can control yourself, how you respond to life, and how you shape who you are. A friend of mine, an old painter, once told me, "And each person's life is a painting. When we are young, we paint with hurried strokes full of bright colors, but also very messy. At this age, we learn to refine, to add subtle tones and depth. But the most important thing is the one holding the brush is always ourselves. I want you right now to take the brush and continue painting your life's picture. Don't let anyone else hold the brush for you. Don't let negative words, past failures, or others' expectations dull your colors. Be brave to try new shades, draw new lines, and create a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Remember, the greatest strength of a person does not lie in wealth, fame, or social connections. It lies in inner peace, in the ability to stand firm when everything falls apart, and in the love you give to yourself. I believe in you, and I believe it is never too late to begin.